Hi guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the week of June 15th. I have a ton of books to go through. This is my book haul for the last 2 weeks. We were out of town last weekend and I just I don't know what happened. Like, I only had 3 or 4 books to read and then I was feeling like I didn't have anything to read. So I got just a ton of books. These are just the paper ones I got, and almost all of them are for review. I will admit I'm a little bit guilty of going through the Amazon Vine review program. It has a big, huge list of books that nobody has claimed for review, and I went through and I claimed a whole bunch of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and start going through them. One that I got for review that I was super excited about, I actually got in NetGalley, and that is The Unkindest Tide by Shauna McGuire. This is the 13th book in the October Day series. I think it's the final book in the series, at least that's what I had made note of. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm really excited to read this. Shauna McGuire is one of my favorite authors, and I'm so excited every year when she gets books that come out. So this actually releases beginning of September, I believe, but I got it early to review, so I'm very excited about that. All right, so now I'm going to go through all the Amazon Vine books I got, and there are a lot of them. This one is on, I think it's available now. I think it just came out last week. This is Storm and Fury by Jennifer Armentrout, which hopefully I said that right. I have read some of Jennifer Armentrout's adult paranormal romance series, and some of them I like, some of them I don't. This is a young adult fantasy series, so I believe it's a young adult fantasy series. It sounded really good, and I went ahead and got it because I've heard good things about it, and I'd like to read it. It is a pretty hefty book, so we'll see how it is. This one was another Amazon Vine book. This was actually a finished copy I got for review from them. Very pretty. You can see all the gold foil on there. And it is called An Affair of Poisons by Addie Thorley. I'm going to be real honest. The cover on this just absolutely caught my eye. And I always think it's interesting reading about assassins and poisoners and stuff like that. And this is a young adult book set in 17th century France. It's an alternative historical France. And it sounds really interesting. So I'm excited to get it. It's been getting kind of mixed reviews, but it sounded like something that I would really like. So I went ahead and got it anyways. Now, a lot of these I have read, so I will give mini reviews for the ones I read. The next one I got for Amazon Vine is called The Ice Garden by Guy Jones. This is already out. It actually came out January this year. As I said, some of these I got off of the Vine leftover list, so some of them are kind of older. This is a very short middle grade novel about a girl who's allergic to the sun who finds a magical ice garden. And I already read it. I liked it. It is a very sweet, short, simple story, a little bit fantastical and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're looking for something short, sweet, simple, kind of fantastical, it was a cute, quick read. Would I go out and buy it? I don't know. For me, it was just too short. I read this thing in an hour and a half. But if somebody reading it to their kids or something, it goes a lot into friendship and disabilities, and her mom is kind of overpowering, but only because she wants to help her, those kind of issues. It was good. It was cute. I liked it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. The next one I got, which I have not read yet, and a lot of these are middle grade level reads because I don't know. I'm just really in the mood to read some nice middle grade fiction. Sometimes they just have better stories, I feel like a classical type of story, fairy tale type of story than some of the young adult and adult books. So the next one I got is The Line Tender by Kate Allen. This one looked really neat because it's about a girl whose mom, I believe, is a marine biologist who goes missing, and this girl ends up trying to hunt her down. It's got a lot of really neat illustrations throughout. It just sounded really cool. And I like learning about different sciences and stuff. And this was kind of about a marine biologist. So thought that would be fun. The next one I got is another Amazon Vine one, another middle grade fantasy called The Whispers by Greg Howard. And this one is about a boy whose mother goes missing. And he keeps thinking he hears these things in the woods telling him that she's in the woods. And that's all I know about it. It sounded kind of cool. I know it is supposed to have some GLBT elements as well. So it's a middle grade book that's supposed to be friendly from that aspect too, which might be kind of nice for some readers who are looking for that. This one is a young adult book. It has an awful advanced reading copy cover. I hate these kind of covers. I don't know. Anyways, it's The Hive by Barry Lega and Baden. I don't know who the first name of that author is. But this is like a sci-fi, like thriller type of thing. It sounds like it's about some social media thing gone wrong. It sounded really neat, and I do like reading some sci-fi, so, you know. I should be saying if these are out. Yeah, The Line Tender came out in April, so it's been out for a little bit. This one has been out for quite a while. It came out in January. The Hive comes out in June, I believe, so it either just came out last week or it's going to come out next week. It sounded like a good one. I don't know a lot about it. I was just like reading synopsises and then reading reviews on Goodreads and trying to see if there were ones that sounded interesting to me. This is another young adult book called Outwalkers by Fiona Shaw. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic book set in England. Trying to remember, I read this and it sounded really good. I think part of the reason I wanted to get this is anybody who read The Angels and the Reapers, or The Reapers are the Angels, or something like that. I think that's what it's called. That's a book that has no punctuation. It is one long sentence, and at first it bothered me, but then I really kind of got into it. This is another book that is supposed to have very minimal punctuation. It's written kind of differently, and it's a post-apocalyptic book set in England, and I thought it would be kind of interesting, so I got that one. And then the last review book I got is All of Us with Wings by Michelle Ruiz-Kiel. This one sounded interesting to me because it's about some girls who summon some ancient deity at some house party and end up that deity goes on revenge for them or something like that. It sounded really different, and I was excited to read it. So I know I don't have a lot of really good reasons for picking some of these up. As I said, the method to my madness is I was going through these leftover books on Amazon Vine, and I was like reading about them, and then I was like going on to Goodreads and reading some of the reviews, and then going on to Amazon and reading some of the reviews and trying to figure out between what people liked and didn't like if it was something I would like, because I was just looking for more books. Again, I forgot to say release dates. This came out in January, so Outwalkers is already out. This one comes out in June, so I think it's mid to end June. So this may or may not be out. It's pretty close to coming out. None of these are like super far out, except for The Unkindest Tide, which doesn't come out till September. All right, I know this isn't kind of long. I believe 4 more books, maybe five more books to go through. The first 4 are audiobooks. I was absolutely out of audiobooks to read. 2 of those audiobooks are Audible Originals, which if you have an Audible membership, you get 2 Audible Originals every month. And the first one, I've listened to both of these already. They're both about 3.5 hours long. And the first one I picked was The Dead Drink First by Dale Maharaj. And this is a really interesting book that is about the author, who's a journalist, trying to hunt down a guy in a picture that his dad brought back from World War II. So there's a picture of this guy, this journalist's dad, and another man that's been hanging in the journalist's house for a long time. And he decides to hunt down the man in the picture. And he does this through a series of like interviews with World War II veterans and some historical research. And it's very interesting. What was more interesting to me is there's a lot of focus on how the World War II impacted the children of the people who went to war. So like a lot of fathers came back from the war. They weren't the same people they were. And it really affected their children and their children's children. So kind of like the generational effects of war in general. So I actually really like this. It's about 3.5 hours long. If you get a chance to pick up, I would. It was really unique, and I think about it a lot. It's one of those books that I like keep finding myself thinking about. All right, the second one I got is like polar opposite, completely not serious, and that is Even Tree Nymphs Get the Blues by Molly Harper. This is a novella in the Mystic Bayou series, which I have not read, and this is like the 2.5-ish novella, so it's right in the middle of the series. I have not read it. This does stand alone fine. I found it very entertaining, like 4 to 5 stars. It does stand alone. It made me actually want to go read the rest of the Mystic Bayou series because it sounds like kind of a fun series. And all the Molly Harper's books are very humorous and funny, but this does deal with a tree nymph and has a lot of paranormal, like romance stuff going on. And it was just a really fun, cute little read. And if you can get it for free for your Yabo original and you like paranormal romance and you like humor, I'd go ahead and get it. All right. 2 more audiobooks and then just 1 more book after that and we are done. So the next book I got for audiobook I did get with an Audible credit, and that is Nest by Esther Ehrlich. I had a very heavy audiobook reading day. I finished this one and then read The Dead Drink first, and both of them are somewhat depressing. So this book is about a girl who's in her preteens whose mom is diagnosed with MS and is having a really hard time with that. So it was very, very well done, but it's not something you want to listen to if you want to feel uplifted. I found it very depressing and kind of hard to listen to and was nearly in tears a number of times as this poor girl is trying to deal with what her family is going through, what her mom is going through, and what she is going through. And a lot of the way the girl deals with this stress is by learning about birds and studying birds and their habits. I was a little disappointed there wasn't more about birds in here. It ends up focusing a lot on this girl's relationship with a neighbor kid and her family and stuff. But it was good. I thought it was well done. It's very raw. I like that the author really stuck to the tone of the young girl, and she doesn't necessarily understand everything that's going on, but she does her best to understand and try to be helpful. So I liked it a lot. I thought it was a very interesting example of a family going through a really hard time. All right. The last audiobook I got is The Golden Spider by Anne Renwick. This is the first book in the Elemental Web Chronicles. It is a steampunk kind of Victorian historical fantasy. I have started listening to this. I really, really am loving this. This book is it was made for me. It's got the main character, the woman is a doctor. She does a lot of research and science, and she's involved with the man who does a lot of science. And there's a little bit of romance, but there's a really neat scientific mystery and stuff going on. And I love the Victorian setting in London. And this book may not be for everybody, but I love it. I love their scientific discussions. I love the setting, and I'm super into it right now. And it's one of those books where I'm maybe I can drive around the block a few more times so I can finish reading this. So I'm really liking that. And then the final book I got was a Kindle Unlimited book. I am keeping my Kindle Unlimited subscription. I think last month I originally said I had done more in Kindle Unlimited books. I got the Confectioner's Chronicles or whatever, and I ended up not liking that series, so I only read the first book out of 3. So I think I got $8 worth of books last month for the $9 subscription fee. We'll see how I do this month, and if the same thing happens, I'll probably cancel my Kindle Unlimited membership. But this was a Kindle Unlimited book, and that is the final book in the Messenger Chronicles by Pippa da Costa. Her Dark Legion. And I have enjoyed this. This has been kind of a light paranormal romancy science fiction series. It's very different. It's a blend of fairy and science fiction. And I've been enjoying it. It's not spectacular, but it's highly entertaining and it's a quick and easy read. And sometimes you just need that. So that's the last book I got. I don't even know. I suppose I can go through and count how many there are. There's a lot. But so we've got 2, 3. Oh, is that right up? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and because we can't have 13 books, 14. So 14 books this week, a ton of books. I have read 4 or 5 of them already, but so that's for the last 2 weeks. I will not be getting that many books this week. I think I'm going to pick up a couple from the library, but other than that, that's all I got going on. And this is getting kind of long, so I apologize for that. But I don't feel bad enough to stop talking, so I will talk a little bit. We are having kind of a coolish summer here in Minnesota. our air conditioner broke. But like, of course, the one day it's hot, right? You turn on the air and it wasn't working. And we found out a little mouse built a nest in our air conditioner and chewed all the wires. And unfortunately, when Mommy Mouse chewed all the wires, she electrocuted herself. So there was like a dead mommy mouse and a mouse nest in our air conditioner. We had to have somebody come out to replace all the wires in there. So that was fun. Yeah, good times. Other than that, it's been kind of cool. It's been in the 70s for the most part, and getting down to the 40s at night still. It was pretty chilly this morning, so it's supposed to warm up and get into the 80s soon, which would be more normal weather for us. Last weekend, we did do kind of a big, not a big trip. It was kind of a whirlwind trip. We had a old friend that was getting married in Detroit who had invited us to his wedding. And so we did this kind of crazy thing. My son had his end of the year Valley Fair school trip. So he did that. He got back at like 7 at night from that. We picked him up from school. We drove to Madison, Wisconsin, and got there at 11:30 at night. And then we got up at 6 in the morning, drove to Detroit, and hung out a little bit at some shopping malls and had dinner that Friday night. And then Saturday we went to the wedding. And then Sunday morning we got up early and drove to Chicago and visited with my sister and her family, because I had not met her. She had her second child about 6 months ago, and we had not been down there to meet him. And so we did that and spent like 6 or 7 hours with them. And then on Monday we drove back home, and it was a lot of driving. It ended up being, I don't know, it's like, what is it, 24 hours of driving in 4 days or something like that. So it was a lot of driving. It was very nice to see everybody. We got to spend a lot of time with some old friends at the wedding and their kids, and so it was fun. And then we got to see my sister, and that was very nice. But honestly, when we got back Monday, everybody was exhausted because we were getting up early and staying up late, and then getting up early and staying up late. And I was pretty crabby earlier this week, so hopefully people at work, like on Tuesday and Wednesday, I just wanted to be left alone at work. I just I'm tired. And we had just a ton of stuff going on. I was supposed to go to a concert Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night we all had to go to the dentist, and my son had swimming lessons, and you guys know how it goes when you have kids. It gets very busy. That being said, we are into our summer schedule here. So my son goes to a sports camp, and he's doing that now, and normally it's a little bit easier than the before and after school care, but this year he didn't do the before and after school care. He just took the bus because he's old enough to get himself on and off the bus. And we don't like having to drop him off and pick him up from sport camp, but it's fine. It's fun for him to do. I don't know that he's getting old enough. He probably doesn't need to do this anymore, but he really likes doing it because he sees a lot of friends there. So we're kind of on that schedule. So we're doing sport camp, and he's still doing swimming, and he's doing a hockey 3-on-3 league still. So it's still been fairly busy. We are hoping to start getting some camping done. I think our first camping trip, we were supposed to go camping over Father's Day, but that's not going to happen because we accidentally scheduled some stuff with some friends Saturday night and Saturday morning. And my husband's like, I just want to stay home on Sunday. So we're going to do that. And we're going to meet up with my dad and my husband's dad on Sunday a little bit and do that. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say. I hope you guys got a lot of great books and that you have a great week of reading ahead of you. I will talk to you next week. Bye.